Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today's video is going to be a very different style from what you traditionally see on here, but I hope it is still insightful for many of you. Now, there's a common question I receive almost on a daily basis in my email inbox, and it typically goes a little something like this. Hey Colton, I'm a huge fan of your channel, absolutely love your work. I would love to bring my car to you, but I am on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast. It doesn't make financial sense logistics wise for me to actually bring the car to you here in Northern Colorado. How do I go about finding a good detail shop like yourself that's going to provide high quality? And honestly, that's a very hard question to answer. But today, I hopefully will give you some of my experience in the detailing industry on how to select a shop for not only detailing, such as just in general cleanups of your car, going in a little bit farther deeper services like doing paint corrections, ceramic coatings, then moving into talking about paint protection film installs, tint installs, because that is one of the biggest things when it comes to those getting a high quality job is how good the installer actually is. And then lastly, we'll talk about mobile detailers, somebody who's going to come to your house to clean and maintain your vehicle. Maybe they'll come to your place of work, and this is going to be really alleviating a big pain point in keeping your car maintained. So without further ado, let's dive into the video. Well guys, thanks for joining me here today. And again, hopefully this will be a very insightful video for you guys across the country to actually be able to find a good detail shop. And everybody's asking me, hey, I live in, Pennsylvania, I live in Florida. Can you recommend a good shop in my area? And reality is I can't go to each one of these shops and vet them out for myself. Now, a little bit about myself, my detail business. If you guys are newer to this channel, I'm a professional detailer. I've been in the industry 12 plus years. I run a high-end detail shop. Very different from a lot of detail shops out there because I'm a one-man show. I'm the guy actually doing the detailing. I'm answering the phones. I'm cleaning the floors. I'm doing the laundry here, creating the website, also shooting all the content, also editing all of it. I am absolutely a one-man show, and I am always doing quality over quantity. I'm typically working on 5-6 cars a month max. Now, a lot of shops out there might do that on a daily basis. They might even do more than that on a daily basis, and that's totally okay. But at the end of the day, my expertise and my experience in this industry will hopefully help you guys find a good detail PPF installer, tint installer, or mobile detailer to actually do high quality services on your car. Now, understand this video is aimed more at high-end services rather than kind of the low-end, hey, my kid spilled ketchup in the back of my car, my interior hasn't been cleaned in 5 years, I need you to go through and absolutely scrub the living hell out of this thing. There's two very different sides, and there's a lot of different areas when it comes to actual detailing. We're staying more on the high-end side. Now, starting off your area of research, whether it's for a detailer to clean up your car, do ceramic coatings, paint corrections, or PPF tint mobile detailing, number one thing I would do is look at their image in general. So I would of course start with actually Googling the shop. Look at their number one location, look at the actual photos they have listed on there, look at the reviews. Now, reviews don't always tell a whole story. The reason I say this is you will see quite a few shops that maybe have 400, 500, 600 5-star reviews, and a lot of the times what happens is shops will actually give out discounts to people for providing a 5-star Google review. And I understand you could say that's trustworthy, that's not trustworthy, but to me, what really makes the difference here is actually looking at the photos and reading the comments about what was going on there. Is this just, hey, this company is great? Okay, that doesn't provide me much context. What type of car was being worked on? What type of services were done? That type of stuff, especially having photos on there, really important. What's also important is to look at the 1-star reviews. And this is something that all businesses deal with, and I've dealt with this, of people who have never even called me, never reached out, I have no idea who these people are, but they will just leave a 1-star review. They'll have their name there and leave no context. Those I would completely ignore. What you actually want to look at is the folks who spent time writing down paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of their negative experience there. But importantly, you want to look at the response of the actual business. Number one, did they respond at all? Number two, were they apologetic? Did they provide any sort of rationale or reason to why this could have become an issue, and how are they going to remedy fixing that? But also, is the company combative? And this is something I actually looked here in Northern Colorado at my competitors here in the detail space and started looking through some of those reviews. And it is crazy how many shop owners, businesses, whatever, will go after those 1-star reviews and start like going after those people and saying, you didn't do this, your expectations were this, blah, 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 blah. And they go down this huge rabbit hole. That is a shop you want to completely avoid in all costs. Now, I understand standing up for yourself, but there are better ways and more professional ways to actually do business. Look at their website. Look at the photos they provide on Google. Look them up on Instagram, or even go to this actual shop to see what it actually looks like. Now, in the photos here, you want to not only look at the type of cars they're working on. Why I say this is, if you're looking to get high-end detailing done, respectfully, you're not going to take your car to a shop that is working on, every mid-size SUV under the sun. Like, if you're taking your sports car, supercar, very expensive luxury car somewhere, you want that car to be in an environment where those people have worked on that caliber of vehicles. And understand that it takes a while to build that up as a detailer. I've been through this as well, but that is something I really look at. Now, not only looking at the cars there, but really importantly, looking at the background there. And this is a big thing for me. Now, I like to keep my shop very clean, very tidy, because I'm an OCD person. If you are taking your vehicle to a detailer, spending multiple thousands of dollars, that shop needs to be clean. If you see floors that are completely filthy, trash everywhere, light bulbs that haven't been replaced, dirt, dust, grime everywhere, you just see, chemicals on a wall, on an open wire rack, they're all leaking. That is not somebody who cares about their image, let alone detailing, and detailing very well. Now, one of the challenging things with this is, even though a shop may hit all of those green flags, they might have great reviews, they might have been professional with 1 or 2 negative reviews they have, they work on super high-end vehicles, the shop might look clean, how do you know you're actually going to get a good job done? And oftentimes, I will tell you, sadly enough, some of these shops that have just crazy high volume, their appearance is amazing, you look at their Instagram, you look at their website, you look at all the Google photos, you're like, damn, this is incredible. And honestly, these are some of the shops that I get let down by most. And why I say that is, there is a very notable shop here in the metro area of Colorado, down in Denver. They work on some unbelievably high-end vehicles. And I actually had a customer that wanted to get some paint protection film done. He ended up going with this shop. The car came here because he had some stuff he wanted to get done after the fact. And he told me he was really disappointed with how the paint protection film actually came out. Car came in here and I genuinely could not believe this shop put out work like that. And this is the reality of Instagram versus reality. And this is why I say, yes, it's great to look at all this stuff. The best thing you can do is actually go to the shop and look at the actual work they have been done. And this can be a couple different things. Number one, you can look at what is the owner driving? What are the cars in the parking lot looking like? And then looking at the actual work they are doing there. Now, this all bleeds into the fact of having good conversations when you are actually calling a shop, and you want to ask as many questions as possible and kind of try to figure out if this person knows what they're talking about. Now, this can be very hard if you have a secretary answering the phone and all they're trying to do is get a quote and get you scheduled in for an appointment. But the reality is, you should be talking to the technicians, the owner, the installers, whatever it is, and asking some hard-hitting questions, or just asking questions that are pretty base level, and if they can't answer those, that's a big red flag. Number one, let's say you're going in for a paint correction, polish, and ceramic coating. You should be asking, hey, I just bought this brand new vehicle. what do you kind of expect to see on this car? And if they say, oh, well, typically, you know, on a new car, we just one-step polish them and ceramic coat them, and you're going to be out within a day. That to me is a huge red flag. And the reason I say that is when I get those calls from customers, I say, listen, I don't necessarily know exactly what I'm getting into on this car. Yes, I would like to see the car beforehand, but sometimes that might not be feasible. I might have a customer coming from Denver, across the country, they're shipping a car in. The reality is I have a good understanding of that, and I also understand, especially when it comes to paint correction, anybody who is doing just one-step polishing on cars or one-stage polishing, I would probably avoid. I would always recommend, and this is just what I do in my shop, you are always cutting and polishing before doing a ceramic coating. The reason is you don't want to lock in all those scratches, all those imperfections. Cars get destroyed when they are brand new from the factory. You have transport from across the seas. You have multiple people getting in and out of them. You have all of the defects from the actual factory, whether that's sanding marks, rotary trails, you know, dust contamination in the actual paint. There's a lot of stuff that goes on with brand new cars, and understanding that not every new car is the same, but that they do need a varying level of care there. Now, some cars come in better than others, of course. So there are times where you might be able to get away with that. But a big red flag there is somebody telling you, oh yeah, we just, you know, one step them, you'll be out by the end of the day. That is just not reality if you're paying for a high quality service. So moving into paint protection film, this further emphasizes the case of you need to go look at this shop. And this provides something really important here. If you walk into especially paint protection film and tint shop and it's dirty, run 1,000 miles away, because I can guarantee you your film is going to have so much contamination in it, whether it's the PPF, whether it's the tint, and it also just little nuances of, hey, walking in, can I actually see your shop? I want to see some of the cars that you've done. Number one, start looking at the edges there. Number two, just look at the environment. Are they doing washing and paint corrections right next to somebody doing PPF or tint? Huge red flag there. PPF and tint need to be done in a very clean, controlled environment. Even such as having doors open. Most shops that do a very, very high-end job will never have a door open. They're trying to be as clean as humanly possible. And again, it's just the overall feeling when you walk back there of like, hey, is this shop legit, or are they just like slamming through cars? Their shop's filthy. They don't really care about the cars they're working on. And that brings me to another point here. Ask the shops if they have a dealership contract. And if they have a dealership contract, run 1,000,000 miles away. Now, this could be the case for installing ceramic coatings, installing PPF, installing tint. The reason I say that is, yes, these are great ways for companies to make money, or these shops to make money, because they have high volume. But the reality is the quality is not there, because a dealership is trying to get that car sold as quickly as possible. So when somebody is going through finance there, they're like, hey, we're getting tint done on this car, PPF done. That car is being rushed over to the shop. They are slapping that stuff on, and they're going to try and get that customer out of there. The reality is dealerships need cars done yesterday, but they need them done now. And most of the time, the work, the quality of work is very, very poor. Now, that's a broad statement there. There are definitely shops that work with higher end dealerships, McLaren, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Porsche, stuff like that, that can do a very good job at a dealership level, but also understand going directly to that shop, they're probably going to take higher quality care of your actual car. Now, again, the other thing to look at with paint protection film or tint are edges there. So number one, just looking at some of the cars that might be around that have PPF on them. This is a great opportunity for you to see the craftsmanship and the quality of work they are actually putting in to working on their actual vehicles. For PPF, you want to look at those edges and see how they are actually tucking those. And you also want to ask the question, hey, are you going to be wrapping every edge on my car? If that company says yes, run. The reality is a lot of PPF shops, like my friend Eric from Drive Protected likes to say, try to play hero. Wrapping paint protection film into areas that are going to fail. And this will happen to you. You will get PPF on your car and you will have edges lift over time. If a shop is trying to play hero, wrapping every single edge, I guarantee you that PPF is going to look horrible in a couple of years. Now, when you look at tint as well, very similar, you should start looking at the edges there. Are they going up to the edge? And actually, especially on windows that are frameless, are they actually shaving the tint on there? That is the difference between really high quality tint shops and guys who are just plotting them out, slapping some tint on there and calling it a day. Number two as well, you should be asking, are you disassembling part of my car as well? And this becomes a big thing, especially when we talk about tint and especially removing headliners in areas. Especially on Teslas, this is a very big thing. They get very, very saturated with all their slip solution. I actually just had a friend of mine who got tint done on his Model 3 Performance, and he was pretty frustrated because all of his A-pillars, all over his headliner was just completely stained by the tint shop because they didn't go the extra mile in removing it. Now, there's always pros and cons to removing things, right? But the reality is a good quality tint shop, I would not be concerned taking apart my car, especially pulling off door panels to get that film tucked down there properly, making sure all of that is bottom fed and da-da-da-da-da. All those little things you should be looking for, and that's why I say you should go to the shop, have a conversation with them, ask them a couple of those questions of, what do you recommend here? What do you not recommend here? And try and figure out if they're legit or not. And the biggest thing is asking them questions like, when you're getting PPF and tint and stuff like that, is how should I be maintaining this? And if they're telling you, oh, just take it through a brush car wash, like, of course, that is number one red flag out there. But if they're actually giving you open, honest, here's the reality of what you should expect this to last, here's how you should be maintaining it, those are all very good things to take into consideration. Now, the last topic I want to talk here is in mobile detailing. And this is where I have some very strong opinions, and I'm sure there's probably some mobile detailers on here that'll disagree with me and, get frustrated. That's totally cool. The reality is you cannot do the same quality of work that you can mobile detailing that you can at a high-end detail shop. And why I say this is there is a lot of mobile detailers out there who offer paint corrections and offer ceramic coatings there. That to me is a huge, huge red flag. Now, the big issue with mobile detailing is it's an uncontrolled environment. So you're working out in the sun, you've got wind, you've got dirt blowing around. There are so many factors that play into that. Where I think mobile detailers are great is those customers who have gone to the shops, they've gotten their PPF done, they've gotten their paint correction ceramic coatings done, and they want to maintain their car and keep it looking nice. And finding a high quality mobile detailer, instead of having to take your car to that shop, drop it off, get a ride home, come back to get the car, that's a huge mess. So that's where I think mobile detailers are absolutely great. The problem with mobile detailing is it is a very low barrier to entry. And why I say this is because you don't have a mortgage. You're not paying property tax. You're not paying insurance on the building. You might have insurance for your actual van and your business, of course, but it is very different levels of it, in my opinion. You can disagree with me, but that's reality. Now, mobile detailers, again, the big things you want to look at here, look at their professionalism. Are they showing up in a car? Are they just getting started? That's great if this is a kid at a summer job, you don't care about your car, but you're not going to have them work on your high-end vehicle. You're trying to maintain and make it look perfect. So again, going back to the aesthetics of this company, is their van or truck and trailer that they're pulling with them clean? Are they maintaining it? Or is this thing showing up with paint chipping all over? It's got dents all over the side of it, things completely filthy. Of course, you're not going to want to use that. You may not even want to use that as your landscaper. Why would you let them actually touch your car? So that can be a thing. You can also look at, most of these mobile detail guys are going to want to showcase their van and their build out of it. You can look at, their organization skills there, how they're keeping things clean, the products they're using. Are they using AutoZone stuff? Are they using high-end chemicals? Those are things you can start to nitpick and look for. And again, asking those questions of, hey, I need this done. Do they just give you a blanket? Here's the price. That to me is never the way to go in a detailing business. That's my opinion. And the reason I say that is because every single car is different. And I say this because every single car has a story. That has always been something I believed here. A car is maintained differently. These cars, some live inside, some live outside, some are pampered, some are beat to shit, and everything in between. So by having a base price that you give people, to me just shows a lack of professionalism. Now I understand for customers it's kind of frustrating because they want, a price. So when I have a customer call from across the country, I give them a ballpark. I say it's going to be between this and this. I'll be responsible and respectful to what it's going to be. And oftentimes these cars that come in that I don't have the opportunity to see beforehand, I like to figure out how much work has gone into it. If I do less work, I charge them accordingly. And that is just being honest and respectful to your customers. And the other reality is, a lot of the times you win and lose in detailing. And I don't like nitpicking prices. If you are seeing shops out there that are like, here's our basic interior detail. If you have rubber mats, it's this much. If you have dog hair, it's this much. If you have this, I like to charge slightly higher so that I know a lot of the times I can cover those services without having to call back up the customer. Hey customer, I notice you have golden retrievers and there's a lot of dog hair. This is going to take me a while. Build that into your pricing already because you should be checking on those cars, or if you're not, you should build it into your price. And then it might be the case of, hey, it showed up to this customer's house. I thought it was going to be worse. Give them a discount. Those people are going to be flipping happy. So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But reality is going through the research, asking questions, and looking behind the scenes, not just at the cars they're working on, not just at the quality, but the overall aesthetics of a company makes a very big difference. So we'll end this one off here. Hopefully you guys found some valuable info out of this. We'll see you in the next one soon. Bye-bye.